Welcome back to my wood shop here in the big woods of northwest Missouri. Today I'm going to continue my little mini series on setting up a jointer, getting it ready for a new project. A little bit of review. You'll remember that in our first video that we honed the blades, and I mentioned to you I like to hone those blades between every project to keep just a razor sharp edge on that. That also helps prolong the life of those blades as well. So I like to do that just to keep those nice and crisp. While I had the jointer apart, we had another video that I showed you how to measure, do the measurements to make sure to set those blades, to make sure as that blade comes up and completes its arc right at the very top that it's almost even with the top of that outfeed table. I told you I allowed myself about 3/1000 of an inch, about the thickness of a human hair is what that is. And then we also looked at the in-feed table because we wanted to make sure that the in-feed table and the out-feed table were at the same plane, so coplanar. So that way when the in-feed table goes down, it's parallel to that out-feed table, so I get a nice even cut all the way through. And that leads us to today. Even though I've done the measurements, and this should be good, as I mentioned before, the final test is running a piece of material through it, or maybe several pieces, to make sure that everything is cutting square and smooth and straight, and I have no issues. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to run a piece of red oak through it. I've got a piece of red oak here, and I've got a little bit of a twist in it and a bit of a bow, not much, just a little bit. And where I've got the twist, I put a little X on the corners. So when I run that through, I'll know how to run that through. You also need to pay attention to the running of the grain. The grain is running this way, so I want to make sure to go with that grain, not against that grain, so I don't get any tear out. So just a little bit of information on that. Let me go over a few safety rules as we go through and safety procedures. It's very important in a wood shop that we maintain safety at all times. So when we're in the wood shop, we protect our eyes with safety glasses, and I've got several pairs of safety glasses around. These have little magnifiers on them, so they help me get down to see close when I'm doing close work. But I keep those safety glasses on, and that protects those eyes. When I'm using a machine like a jointer, especially when I start operating, it makes a lot of noise. And when it does, I want to make sure that my hearing is well protected. So I put on hearing protection. And then of course, when I'm creating any significant amount of dust, I want to make sure that my lungs are protected. All right? Even though I have the tool here hooked up to a nice jet dust collecting system, it's a Cyclone Vertex, and it does a great job. It has a filtration system in it as well to do the fine dust, and I have an overhead, another jet product that filters out the fine dust that's floating around in the air. Still, that little dust coming off of there can damage your lungs over a long period of time, so we want to make sure we keep ourselves healthy. Another safety consideration with this tool is that spinning blade. So that blade, if you can see it here, that blade spins at 3,450 revolutions per minute, so 4,350 RPMs. You don't want your hand to come in anywhere in contact with that blade. That blade is hard and sharp, and it will just take your fingers right off. So you want to make sure that when you're using a jointer, you keep your hands far away from that blade in a safe manner. So as I run this board through, you're going to see me use these little push pads, and these are original. These came with my jointer 35 years ago, and so I use those to push that through. You're going to see as I go through the material that I'm going to use something like a little push stick like this to finish up the cut. That way there's no chance of me coming in contact with that blade. Don't take chances, it's not worth it. And this can happen faster than you could ever pull your hand away. Also notice I keep the guard on my machines. That guard just protects it in case something weird would happen, keep me from getting into the machine. Keep yourself away from any spinning belts or pulleys as well, and then you're good. You'll also notice that I have my machine completely unplugged as I'm working on it or demonstrating, and I don't plug that machine in till I get ready to start. Okay, so that takes us to the point where we're going to start our machine.